Okay. I think I'll just wait 1 minute in case people are still coming over. And Andrew, would you actually be able to spotlight me? Because I'm going to just share like this if you can spotlight me. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to go ahead and share in the chat.
I think people need to pin you because I don't think I can in a breakout room.
Got it.
So
if you all wouldn't mind, the best way to see my presentation would be if you would go up to the 3 little dots at the right of me. So find me in the grid or wherever I am, hit the 3 little dots at the top right. And if you would click on pin, then you'll be able to see me large. And that would be the best way to do this. If anybody has problems, please just leave that in the chat, but otherwise that would be awesome. And then if you would like, I'm sharing my slides as an interactive Pear Deck just so you could take notes if you wanted to, and that's just what I use. If you wanted to take notes as I talk, then you're able to do that through that platform. And then you could leave questions if you have them for me afterwards. So that's the only reason those slides are available. I just left them in the chat. Now, I've actually pre-recorded my session because I have a whole lot that I want to get through today, and I wanted to get through it as quickly as possible. So I was able to edit down an hour presentation into half an hour because I pre-edited it. But I also have this like special little guest named Marty the robot, and there's some math activities specific to this. And I just got this thing recently, and I really wanted to share it today. Since you all are math teachers, I just thought it would be so much fun. So that's why I said, I'm going to pre-record my session, get through it really efficiently, and then we can have like hopefully 5 to 10 minutes at the end to play and to ask questions. So if you have questions, I'm going to be in the chat because I'm going to be very active over there since I'll be just sharing a pre-recording of my slides. So go ahead, ask me any questions as my presentation is going. Right in the chat, I'll respond. And if there's a lot of questions, I'll pause the video, obviously, and I'll just talk to you and answer them because obviously I'm here. All right, so let's get going. Hello, this is Stacy Roshan, and I'm so happy that you're joining me for this session focused on using Canva's draw and record features paired with a Wacom tablet. If you don't know me, again, my name is Stacy Roshan. I am an educator, a speaker, and author of Tech with Heart, which centers on leveraging technology to empower student voice, ease anxiety, and create compassionate classrooms. If you are on Twitter, I'd love to connect with you there. I'm at BuddyXO. I also have a website, techiemusings.com, where I post a lot of free resources, so you can find a lot of stuff there and connect with me if you're not on Twitter. I am going to start with a little bit of background, just so you understand a little bit of my why. Then we'll talk about the different types of Wacom tablets that you might be interested in. And then you will see a very live demo of how to do all of this with Canva. So I'll show you how the draw and record features work, how I create instructional videos, and also create live instruction in the classroom. So it will be a very hands-on walkthrough. So let's get into that little bit of background. So for me, it really started when I was teaching AP Calculus, and I felt like I had all this content to get through and not enough time. And I think we've all felt that way as educators, no matter if you're teaching a high-level AP class or not. So my solution was to offload that very teacher-directed portion of class to videos so that I could free up class time for us to talk, for us to have conversations, for me to sit with my students one-on-one every day and listen in on their conversations instead of my content driving so much of class time. And it's been a really wonderful shift for me. And so that is something that I talk a lot about. I share a lot about my journey because it's been years and years of a journey to evolve into the flipped classroom and the really tech-enabled classroom that I discovered. And so I'm going to share a little piece with you today of how to create some instructional content, whether that be video or just inking up a worksheet. And I think that is a wonderful step. These tools that we have now, like Canva, were not available when I started my journey, and having an all-in-one tool just makes it so much more friendly on the teacher end and also accessible on the student end. And that's what I aim to share with you today. Now, one of the biggest wins for me was that when I reduced the anxiety in the classroom, and I did that by offloading that lecture, so we really freed up a lot of class time, it was all of a sudden seeing students become much more resourceful and independent in their learning. There was so much peer-to-peer learning going on in the classroom. You know, I thought that I was going to be running around the classroom answering a million questions, but when I freed up all this class time for students to work, to collaborate, to problem solve, I found that they would rather ask one another. And that has been a really powerful shift in my classroom. And that was what I would say is really the power of flipping the classroom, is really shifting the ownership over to students, but facilitating that learning, to be there to coach them along the way. And it is very personal. If you're interested in learning more about my flipped classroom, you can learn about it on my website, or just go to YouTube and search my name, and I have it as the first video there. And it is all about my mentality behind my flipped classroom. And it is something that I actually share with parents at the beginning of the year, so that I'm sure that I start the relationship off well with parents, so that they understand the expectations, so that they're able to help their children maximize their learning in the class. Relationships start from day one. And this is one of the ways that I model and let parents experience what their children are going to be experiencing throughout the year, but also explaining the why really well. Now, one of the things based on feedback over the years that I found from students is that they really prefer a style of video where I am writing and talking at the same time. So that over something that's like really polished, and maybe I had written it all out ahead of time really neatly, and then I just show it on the screen. No, they really prefer the style where I'm writing and I'm talking at the same time, and giving them enough space and time and pause for them to take notes and write as I'm talking in the video. And that is the style of video that I'm going to showcase to you. The Wacom tablets really enable me to ink with ease on any type of presentation that I'm giving. And I'm going to use my tool of choice today is going to be Canva to be able to do all of that. So like I said before, this would have been a dream for me when I started my flipped classroom journey, because Canva allows you to take a PDF or other presentation that you create right in Canva. You can then use the drawing tools right in Canva, all the different colors, pen thicknesses, all at your fingertips. And you can even record the video right there in Canva and share with just the click of a button. So to get started, the first thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to create an account in Canva, and you'll want to make sure that you sign up as an educator. As an educator, once you're verified, you get access to everything that's premium in Canva for free. So that includes premium images, more access to templates. And once you sign up as an educator, you can create a class so that your students can actually get onto, and they can do all this creation. I'm not going to focus on the student creation end on this video, but that is something that you should definitely look into also. But first step, create a Canva account if you have not already, and make sure you are upgraded as an educator. It is free for all. Now, the next thing, of course, is to have the Wacom tablet so that you have the drawing ability. So I have a couple of different ones that I'm going to show today. So first of all, this one right here is the pen tablet style of Wacom tablet. And so you can see here, it is like a giant mouse pad. That's how it works. The pen just gives you pen precision to write. So it is like a mouse, whatever you can do with a mouse. If you can draw with your mouse currently in an application, then the Wacom tablet's going to give you the pen precision when you're writing. It's not going to magically put a pen on your screen. You need to pair it with an application like Canva that has a drawing tool built in, and then you have the pen precision of being able to write instead of, trying to scroll along with your mouse. If you've ever tried that before, it's not fun, especially me as a math teacher. I'm trying to write some of those calculus equations. No, I cannot do that with a mouse alone. So I need one of these, and then I've got the pen and I can just write. So this is a slate style, very easy to carry around. This one that I'm showing right here is the Wacom Intuos tablet. This is the small size right here, and it is Bluetooth enabled. There are two versions of it. If you want something portable to carry around the classroom, this one, the Bluetooth version of it, is definitely my recommendation there for its portability, easy to throw in your bag, carry it around if you have different classrooms. Now there is also a larger size. So these are the two sizes of the Wacom Intuos tablet. This is the small size and this is the medium size. If you find that the small is just a little bit too small, you can go for the medium size, and this also comes in a Bluetooth version. So you can choose between those two. The small size is obviously a little bit lighter, easier to carry around the room. So this one is usually what I recommend. Now there's also the one by Wacom, and I have it unplugged right now, but this one does need to be plugged in. This is their lowest price point option. It's the one with the red back, and this one is absolutely fantastic. All of Wacom tablets are absolutely fantastic. They're created for artists. They're well beyond what I ever even need as a math teacher, but the handwriting experience on them just feels so good. And when it feels good, you want to create more. It looks better. You're more excited about your work. And for me, it's been something where I've created more because I have these tools in my hand. So this one is the one by Wacom. Again, if you're able to get like a class set of these, you're able to put it in a student hand. This is absolutely my recommendation for students because they don't need wireless. If I have a class set of these, and I do actually have a class set of Wacom tablets, I want the plugged in version. Bluetooth would be a lot for me to manage. And again, the price point on this is a little bit lower. So this is what I would recommend for students. Now, the Wacom One is the one that you see right there on the screen. That's the display style tablet. And that's what I'm actually going to be presenting with. I'm going to move over to that view in just a moment, but that is the one that I use to create all of my flipped classroom lessons. You do need to be plugged in for that one. You need to be plugged into the wall and you need to be plugged into your computer. So that's the one that when I'm sitting down, I'm writing with, and I love that it gives me another screen. If you need to teach virtually at any point, you have a second display, which is super key and really helpful. So those are the three options that I usually recommend to teachers. And again, I'm going to be presenting today from the Wacom One, just so you can really see how I interact with it, because I'm going to do an overhead demonstration and hopefully that will be helpful for you. So if you're looking at the copy of my slides, I have a classroom demo little video that's very short clip if you want to check that out later. But I'm going to move into Canva. I'm going to move into an overhead shot of me actually creating, and we are going to really dig into all the nitty-gritty of how we do this. So let's move over there. Okay, so now it's time to get into the fun part. We're moving over to, I'm going to demo this on my Wacom One so that you can just see exactly what I'm pressing and doing on the display style tablet. We are going to jump over to Canva, and I'm going to be showing you an example where I am choosing actually a PDF to use as my base. And then I'm going to show you some tips for making the most of Canva's draw tools with the Wacom tablet. You can do this on any of the Wacom tablets. I am going to be doing it on the display style Wacom One tablet so that you can see exactly what I'm pressing and doing most easily. We are going to be using Canva's built-in video recorder to actually create an instructional style video, and I'll show you how you can share your lesson too. So let's go ahead over to Canva. and let's create a new design. I'm going to import a file so that I can show you the really cool ability to upload a PDF. This worksheet that I'm choosing is actually from k5learning.com. And so I'm going to just go ahead and open it. Here we go. And what's really cool about importing a PDF in Canva is that it actually becomes editable text. So you can manipulate the PDFs that you pull in. You could adjust the instructions a little bit if you wanted to. You could adjust some of the examples. I'm going to go ahead and just leave this one as is, but I did want to share that functionality. Whenever you upload a PDF into Canva, it does give you that ability to adjust it to make it your own. And you can see it pulled in quite nicely. I do see on the second page here, though, that it put in an answer key, and I personally do not want that. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete that second page so that I just have the first page, and let me just adjust it way up so that it's bigger there. All right, so at this point, let's go ahead and look at these cool drawing tools. So I have the drawing you'll see already on my sidebar here. If you don't see it, go into more right here and you should see draw. It does say that draw is in beta, but I've been using draw for a while now and it works really, really well. So I feel safe to say that you should try it yourself. Once you have it in your sidebar, you click on it the first time, it will live there, and then you can just press draw to open it up. And now you can choose from a pen, a marker. The glow pen is a lot of fun. I'm not going to use it for this particular lesson, but yeah, that's a lot of fun. You can undo by pressing Command Z on your keyboard. I use that shortcut a lot. So let's go over, I like the marker tool, and I'm going to leave the transparency all the way up at 100%. And I think I'm going to make my size around 30. Yeah, that looks good. Undo. I think I'll use a green color for this one to kind of match the green that I see highlighted there. And then I'm going to just go ahead and resize this down a little bit so that we can see both things side by side. All right, so now I can draw anywhere on the canvas. I can point out certain things if I was doing this in the classroom, and maybe let's quickly change colors and say that, you know, I'm pointing things out and saying to students, we have one part here, we have two parts here, and in green, we've shaded one of those two parts. So changing back to green, we have one out of two, or one half of the drawing shaded. Now I might move their eyes over here and say, all right, let's do the same process. How many pieces do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces. How many of those pieces are shaded? One of them. So the denominator of my fraction is going to be 4. And how many of these equal pieces are shaded? One of them. So we have 1 out of the 4 shaded, and that is the fraction of the shape that's filled in. So you could use this for live instruction. I'm going to press the done key. Actually, I recommend that you probably press the done key after each of the drawings you've done, because that allows you to actually move that drawing as a block in case you ever need to move it or you ever need to resize it. That's more for when I want to whiteboard, that I do a lot of that. You can press done at any point to kind of save the drawing that you've done, and you don't want to wait too long between drawings so that you don't potentially mess something up or lose something. Now, how do I combine the recording with the drawing tool? To do that, I like to scroll up to uploads right here and then record yourself. I find that the easiest way to do this. And then you can choose if you want to capture your camera, and that would be just your camera. You can choose your camera and your screen, or you can just record your screen. In this example, I'm going to just record my screen. Hi, so obviously a quick edit here. I realized I didn't explain something well enough, so I want to zoom in and explain this before we move on how to record. First thing, when you click on uploads, record yourself might not be there with all project types. So if you don't see it there, my suggestion is do one of two things. Either start by uploading your document like I did for this one, go to create a design, import file, and then pull in your PDF. I found that that always gives you the upload option. But if you don't want to upload a file, and you want to start with the template that Canva has, just use this presentation format, presentation 16:9, and that one will give you the record yourself option. From there, you can then click on templates and you could find a template that you want. Fantastic. Now, when I go to uploads, I still see record yourself. I'm going to give one pro tip while we're here. Let's look at this feelings check-in template. Now, let's go ahead and choose this one. If I go to uploads, you're going to see this is one of the file types. This letterhead does not allow you to record yourself. You could go to resize right here, change it to presentation like this, resize. And then if you go back to uploads, you will see record yourself. If you don't like how big it is, you can always go over back to resize, change it to inches and go back to 8.5 by 11, just resize again. And then of course, make it the right size, but that little change that you do right there will maintain that record yourself option, which you're going for. So that is my recommendation to you. I can't tell you why some of them have the presentation. When I click on this one, which looks pretty much the same format. If you go to uploads, you'll see record yourself there. So it just kind of depends, but now you know a workaround. The other thing, I want to just slow down before we go back to the video itself. What I'm about to do is record, but you need to open this file in either two different tabs or two different windows so that you can actually draw and talk at the same time. Because when you start recording, you're not going to have all these features over here on the side. So here's what I do. I just take whatever Canva document I'm working in, I copy the URL, so let's go ahead and copy it. I open up another tab. In here, I just paste that URL. And so now I have the same document opened in both tabs. All right, now that I've slowed it down, let's go back to the overhead shot and you'll see how I do the drawing and the recording at the same time. Just to remind you of where we were before, we were over here in the uploads. We had just pressed record yourself and we were choosing for this example, just to share our screen. In this example, I'm going to just record my screen. It allows me to choose my entire screen, my window or a Chrome tab. Chrome tab doesn't actually work for what we want to do. So I recommend just doing a window, selecting the window that you're on. If you have it opened in two tabs like this, if you had it open in two windows, then obviously choose the one where you want to do the drawing in. Go ahead and press share. When you're ready, press record. During the 3, 2, 1 countdown, go ahead and jump over to what you want to be recording. And I had already set up my scene over here. So let's zoom in a little bit and do that same type of thing. So how many equal parts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6. And the denominator was already filled in. Of course, you would explain that a little bit better. And how many of those 6 are shaded? Well, I just have one of them in this example. So I have 1, 6. Go ahead and press done. Move back over to your other tab and press done. And now we have a little recording. I'll show you how that works as soon as we press save and exit recording. And I had already set up my equal parts. So I have. So here you go. Here's your little video that is just embedded right on your worksheet. You can see that the drawing and the voice recorded nicely in real time. I don't like to put it directly on the worksheet. I tend to like this to be big and on a separate page. So the way that I do that is just scroll down, add a page. So you have a blank page down there, scroll back up and just move this down to your other page. You can also cut and paste if you find that easier than dragging and dropping. And that's it. So now, you could have your page of the worksheet that students are filling out. And then you could have the second page where maybe you have some instructional video, or you could swap that out, put instructional video first. And when you share this with students, one thing is that when you push share, normally you just use the view only link and you copy that, and then you would share that link. So let me show you what happens when you do that. When you have the video, it makes just the video share out. So instead, what I do is go to share, and then I go down here to more, and I choose present, and then I just use standard and just press copy link. And then if I open that in another tab, that will work perfectly. No sign in is required for students to be able to view this. You can see if I open an incognito window here and I paste it in, there's the worksheet so that they can view this. And then if they go to the second page, and I had already set up my there's the video, they can stop it, they can play it. And so they have the worksheet on page 1, and then you want to be recording, and I had the video on page 2. That's how I do it. It's very simple. Okay, I'm back. So there's a couple of steps there, and I wanted to just go through in detail all of the steps so you could see them. But I think the first time you just watch it, it seems like more steps than it actually is. And also Canva, if you use Canva, you've probably seen how many updates they've been coming out with recently. So I'm sure that, this workflow is going to get even easier, but all these tools are built right in. And one of the things that I really love, and that's what I wanted to demo today with this little robot guy, because this robot guy has some math equations that you can, or some math worksheet type things that you can do. But I wanted to show you how I was playing with this, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can pull in the worksheet and demo that for you, because you can actually now, another thing is you can pull Word documents into Canva too. So I know I only have 5 minutes, but I'm going to show that to you as quickly as possible. So here's the resource learning portal for this Marty the robot. All right, so here is a middle school math lesson, and they have this workbook here, right, built in. Now there's coding involved, but I'm just going to show you the workbook to keep things simple. So let's go ahead and download this workbook. When I download it, you can see it's pulling in as a Word document. If I go over to Canva now, and if I press create a design, I can go here to import file, and then let me go to my downloads. Here we go. So now that's going to pull in, and everything that I pull in is going to actually be editable, which is one of the things that I really love. So whether you pull in a PDF or even a Word document like this, it is all editable right in here. Now your students can, something that, in a Word document, students can't as easily draw right there. There are some pen tools built into Word, but I think this is even better. So now students would have some of these drawing tools. If you say, what is the equation for the perimeter and how does it work? Obviously you would have more of a prompt here. This would go with maybe something that you are programming the robot to do at the same time, but you can have students just easily make a copy. So each student would make their own copy, and then they can use the pen tool in order to just draw out a sketch. They can change their colors really easily, and they can talk through it. They could even record a video of their own. And that's the other thing that kind of excites me about this idea is, say that we get to the step where we are actually coding the robot, right? So we are actually coding something where we're saying, like, have the robot move whatever we're trying to demo in this lesson so that we can talk about perimeter. So have it move up 3 steps, side 4 steps, back 3 steps, side another 3 steps. So we could actually have students all in Canva. We can have them go to, like we were saying before, go to that uploads, go to record yourself, and students can go right there to that record yourself, and they could record the robot actually carrying out a step. And it could be a way of them documenting, for example, I tried this, didn't work, but they have a video of that recording. They could take a snapshot, a screenshot of the code actually running, because this robot works through Scratch style coding. And all of that is actually in the lesson plans here. They actually show a demo, so you as a teacher can kind of see what it should look like. You can show that in class. If you don't want to do your own live demo, you have that option. And then if you go into the actual teacher guides, which is right here, it actually shows you all the code here. So you can run that, or you could just take snapshots of it and show it in your classroom. So I don't know, I got really excited about this when I saw it. And if you're in these slides, I see somebody ask a question here. If you're in the slides, and I'll throw the link to the slides again in the chat, but if you click on this slide right here, they actually gave me this promo that I could share with you for a 2-week free trial. So it's completely free. That's how I got this. I just signed up for a trial, and then I'm demoing it out, and they just send it to you. And if you don't want to keep it after 2 weeks, you just send it back to them. But if you're interested, definitely click on that link, you schedule a meeting with them, and that's what I did, and they will send it to you and you get a trial of this. I just think it's another fun way to do something with your class. So, okay, I talked really quickly and I want to leave at least 1 minute for questions. If you look at the presentation slides, you'll also see I have some reflection questions built in there. If you want to do any of them, if you want to type anything out, I'm going to keep this open for another 24 hours. But if you have questions, leave them on this discussion slides question. Your slides should have room to type out your questions also, and I will see them. I promise I will respond to anybody who asks questions in these slides or needs any follow-up. So, all right, we got 1 minute. If you have any questions, go ahead. You can unmute your mic or just leave them in the chat.
All right, Stacy, well, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to stop recording and let you answer questions.
You're gonna put the link in the chat, you said?